Call our toll-free number or visit intouch.org. Coming up, you'll meet a young man who's kept his flame for Jesus Christ burning brightly. He faced physical and spiritual opposition as a soldier in Iraq and yet remained strong in his faith. A story about faith in the fog of war. That's next on In Touch.
I'll never forget September 28th of 2004. I was sitting in my command post. It was about 11 o'clock at night. All of a sudden the radio, which is about 30 feet away, starts sparking up, and you can hear some frantic talk. We have casualties, we have casualties. And I'm like, no. So I get up, run over to the radio, and I'm just listening in. And eventually we hear KIA.
Killed in action, the worst fear for a company commander. Chris felt responsible for the physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being of the 100 men under his authority.
And that guy I just shared the gospel with 2 weeks before, and he's dead. And he said no. And there's that that sense of urgency of like, the one is like, well, at least I shared it with him. But golly, we don't have time. Life is so short. And I go out, we have to go out and search for his body.
Chris attended over a dozen memorial services during his deployment. Each time, he wept for his own men. Clinging to his faith helped him endure the burden of his own thoughts.
I tell my executive officer, who's my second in command, I'd be like, all right, man, in the morning, between this time and this time, I'm going to be in the chapel. And I go in the chapel every morning, and I get 2 chairs, plop one in front of me there, and I'd sit in one, and I'd just sit there, and I'd be like, I'm afraid today. God, you got to do something. We just lost another guy. What are you doing? You know, there's the frustration, and I just lay it out before him.
His relationship with Christ served as an example to his men and even to the people his company was there to protect.
And so we're arresting some guys that look suspicious. This woman, she comes out, and she is just howling. And I walk up to her, and she just grabs my wrist. And there's just that moment where you're like, the pain is not just mine. I'm not the only one here that's suffering. I took my helmet off, and I took my sunglasses, and I moved up so she saw my eyes, and I looked at her. And I was just like, I didn't say anything. I couldn't say anything. I just wanted to tell her I loved her. Just because Jesus loved me. I don't know if she understood that. But all of a sudden, she just kind of relaxed and walked away.
As he prepares to become a pastor, God is already using Chris's experience for his glory. The book, Faith in the Fog of War, journals Chris's time on the front lines.
I look at my life as something that needs to be poured out. And so I'm going to go find the needy, I'm going to go find the weak, and I'm going to go share the hope. So here we have... You know, I've always looked at it as like, you got to take risks. I took a lot of risks in combat, and some guys thought I went too far, but I came back okay. And they said, sir, you believe too much. You're too naive. You're willing to risk too much. And I said, well, maybe. But I think God is with me.